folks, and welcome to IconiCrafts. Today we are coming up on just a week practically from IconiCon on April 22nd. And if you haven't had a chance yet and you were looking to be the very best like no one ever was, this is your chance to make your very own starter Poké Ball. Depending on who your starter is, you might have already picked one, but that's okay, because you're going to have to go in the tall grass and catch your own. So today, you're going to have a couple different things in the kits that you're going to use. You'll see you'll have two different colors of our starting Poké Ball with white and red acrylic paint. Yours will have a lid on it, don't worry. You're going to have two parts of these plastic acrylic ornaments as well. We're going to be getting to those in a sec, as well as a sticker and a little bit of black tape on a piece of straw. That's going to be some final touching up that we'll do here in a bit. What you don't have in your kits is going to be a place where you can rest some of your Pokeballs, as they're going to be a little bit wet for about a day or two. So it's good if you happen to have, let's say, an egg carton or something flat like this. I've got a Toby mask from Naruto left over here I'm going to be using. You can also use tape dispensers, small vases, anything you've got lying around the house. But our first step is going to be to take our ornaments here and fill them up with acrylic paint. You'll notice the acrylic is a little bit runny in some cases, and others you might have a little bit more of a full-bodied acrylic. That's okay. But to get started here, you're going to pour a generous amount of paint right into the center of your Pokeball, and this is going to be the bottom half, and just kind of let it swirl around. You're going to have a little bit more than you'll need, so don't worry about that. You'll get to it in about 12 hours or so. But you want to just gently let it run all around. You don't need a paintbrush or anything like that for this craft. It's nice that way. And try and get as close to the top lip as you can, but you don't want to go over this part here, and I'll show you why in just a sec. That's going to be where the ornaments connect together, and make sure you have a nice, safe, happy place for the Pokemon you catch. Just give it a gentle spin around. You don't have to get all the way up to the edge the first time on that first revolution. Just enough to kind of gently go. Keep a nice steady line. You'll see some places, like on this side, I haven't quite got to it yet. It's okay. Just let the paint gently fill it in. If it goes a little bit closer to the edge, that's okay too. You'll have some time to clean it off once it dries in a day or two. If it's nice and warm in your house, or you have a clear place like a deck or somewhere where things aren't going to fall inside, that's a good place where it can do it. If you have some areas near a stove or in your kitchen or a warmer part of the house where it's not too humid, that will also help. Humidity does make paint take a little bit longer to dry. So afterwards, you're going to have a nice, clean set of lines on your Pokeball. You can pour any extra paint out if you want to back into the cup, or you can give it a little bit of time. Just going to speed this up here. There we go. And like I said, if the lines aren't perfect, that's okay. You'll see in a little bit, but we're going to place it somewhere where it has a chance to dry. And then move on to our next side here. Now this one we're using a slightly fuller bodied acrylic, which is okay. It's not going to spread quite as fast as that lighter acrylic, but it's going to get the job done nicely still. And for this one, you're going to have to kind of shake it a little bit. It's got that nice bright red color. So you'll see it doesn't spread quite as fast, but that's all right. Take a little bit of time. But just let gravity do the work for you. Now the reason we're not using brushes, I'll show you in a sec, but basically with the clear acrylic for these ornament containers, anytime you have a line or a brush stroke on these kind of things, you're going to be able to see it. Whereas when you're letting gravity kind of pour the paint for you, you're going to get a nice clean line. You look at under here, and you can barely tell it's not part of the plastic itself. And when it has a chance to dry, it's going to have this perfectly clear shell on the bottom half. And no one's going to be able to see through. So, if we got any young Pokemon masters who are practicing, it might be good to start with the red, because this one goes kind of slow. But you'll have plenty of paint, don't worry, it's going to cover all of it. It just takes a little bit to get going. And see that little divot there, the red, just kind of taking its time. If there's any adults watching this, it is definitely kind of a Bob Ross moment. Just happy little accidents. But we make them work. There we go. Now, change the direction here a little bit. Might add a tenth of bit more paint to this side. Just so we can get you folks out there catching stuff outside of Pallet Town, whichever region you happen to be in. If you're coming dressed as your favorite Pokemon character, or even your favorite Pokemon during IconiCon, you'll have to remind us which region they're in. There's so many now. I think we might have gotten to 1,000. Yeah, you'll see that time when I was kind of speeding along, I got a little bit of streaks there, but that's okay. Once the 4 reaches, it's going to cover all of that nicely. Okay, we're back there. So you will see I had a chance to spread around the paint. Now this one I did go a little bit further than the edge, and that's okay. I also had a little bit of white on my fingers, so we're just going to wipe that right off. The nice thing about the acrylic is as long as it's dry, you just get a little bit of water and things come right off of there. If you see a little streak near the edge, that's okay. We'll be getting to that in a second, but it's easy to clean up, just a little bit of elbow grease needed. So, after you wait for about a day or so, you'll see that the line of the paint's going to go down. It's even started in our white, even just after a couple minutes there. And that's okay. You're going to have some excess paint you can pour out. What you'll see after about a day is it's going to firm up to be nice and hard. Now, the acrylic doesn't hold it back closely, so you might want to be careful. This one we actually patched up a little bit with some tape on the side, just a little bit to make sure it doesn't slide around too much. So if you have some tape at home, that's a good idea too. Again, using just a clear see-through tape can help with that. That'll make sure that your lines aren't too jagged, and you'll see in a couple places where the paint's kind of broken off, because when we put our Poké Ball together, line up the 2 little edges here, and they should press together nicely. And if you have a little flecks falling off like that, that's okay. Again, it's just from that line that's connecting the 2 there. So you might see a little crack here and there. That's okay. Most of that's going to be covered as you get ready to put the tape on. So with the tape, you should have enough to get all the way around the Pokeball. If you want, it's good to start towards the back, over on this side here. And you're going to line it up with that end so that it covers the crease. You just kind of run your little straw along the edge, trying to keep as straight a line as possible, going around the equator of your Pokeball. Now these ones don't hold actual action figures or anything inside, so there are a couple versions of this craft where you could do where they do open up. They don't look quite as nice as the one we had picked, so we wanted to get you one that was almost as accurate looking as you could get without having a 3D printer or things like that too. If anyone came out to our LARP with the library last fall when we were over at Lake Mead Park, you saw that we did hand some of these out, and we also had 3D printed Poké Balls, like a Master Ball, a Great Ball, and an Ultra Ball that were really cool. So if you're interested, we do have a 3D printer you could use for that. But you'll see, you just get that line of tape all the way across the edges, all the way around, and then just pull the back off of your tape, and you can put it on any side. We like doing it over here towards the front, so that way you'll know where the button is that opens it up too. And there you go, you're going to have your first Pokeball ready to go. It's going to be a nice color, ready to toss. If you throw it too hard or you throw it at something, it might crack the paint a little bit, so just be careful. But if you're using it for a prop for your cosplay costume, things like that, it's going to be a great accessory to have. So if anyone's doing the cosplay contest coming up on Saturday, we do have the kids contest and awards at 12:30. The teens and adults, for those in middle school or 14 and up, it's going to be at 2 p.m. So it should be a lot of fun. We've got anyone who plays Pokemon Trainer. You can come show us your skills at the Smash tournament as well. That's going to be at 11:30 for beginners, and for 12 p.m. it's going to be for our advanced Pokemon trainers. So come and check it out. We have a lot of fun things going on, including the Retro Arcade, a Marketplace, the Nerd Family Feud, and the Escape Room too. So I hope to see you there. Good luck, and gotta catch 'em all.